Well, I will. We are recording the session because we will send this to the people who could not attend. And I think my screen is disabled.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, now you can share.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, this is what we try to do every year, a welcome and introductory forum. Basically, most of you have already gone through this, so I will try to move as fast as I can. The objectives mainly are to get to know each other, because even if we have been at meetings before, we don't know details of who we are and what we do. Then we're going to talk about the mentoring program, share our experience in mentoring or whatever we have done, and address any questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions that you may have. The agenda, we allow for 15 minutes, it could be even 20 minutes because we're a few. And then we'll go into the objectives and results of the program. Just a presentation, I think Firdausi has already seen that before. Something about the methodology that we're using in the program. And then we discuss questions and answers, and we'll try to finish in less than 1 hour or 1 hour at most. The participants are here. We're still missing Jeremy Collymore. Arleti participated on Monday. Davy is not here. Ellie also participated on Monday, and myself. We're waiting for Jeremy and Davy. Okay. Again, all of you know that multipod means multi pathways, opportunities, and decisions. So I don't need to say anything else. This is our outreach, how it has been increasing since the beginning of the program. We have now more than 112 countries. I mean, not only the countries where mentees and mentors were born, but also the countries where they reside. And the reason for that is because if you reside in one country for some time, you know something about that country. And that's what we need, to have an extended network of mentors and mentees all over the world. I have wanted to have somebody from Mongolia for the last 4 or 5 years because I met some very good people from Mongolia. And finally, we had a mentor, a new mentor, working in the energy sector that is going to join us this year. The objectives of the program, basically the professional, personal, and technical development of the mentees. We are not an academic program. What we're interested is in our mentees, in our young people, as well-rounded humans. But the second objective is to create this critical mass, this think tank, this collective intelligence network of young and older people from all over the world, perhaps no more than 30, 40, 50, whatever, to think as a think tank and come up with some ideas, some fresh ideas, similar to what they do in Unleash and some other programs, to confront, or not confront, address not the problems or the issues of the 21st century, not only the problems. For example, nanosurgery, artificial intelligence, all the things that are coming now, we need to have a group of people who can address that. And that's why we have so many disciplines represented in the program, more than 69 disciplines. This is something that I haven't shown you before, I think. I took this from Greg Martin. And by the way, I recommend that you subscribe to Greg Martin's channel on YouTube. This man knows everything you want to know about public health and global health. And he's such a good communicator and teacher that in 12, 15 minutes, he addresses a very complex theme and gives you the essentials, and you learn a lot. Recommend that to your mentees. And what he says basically is what we need to know, what our mentees need to know, and what they need to know what to do, how to do. They know first is in the public health disciplines, if you are working in health, epidemiology, statistics, etc. Then in the quarter number 2, people acquire a focus or an expertise in a certain area, tobacco prevention, tobacco control, adolescent health, HIV, etc., as Adam has been working on that. Then you go to number 3. And number 3 is what we are basically centering the program. What our mentees, our young professionals learn working in the real world, but also what they learn by having a good mentor. And I'm very pleased because you'll see the results of what the mentors in the program have done. Then a few of them will go to the next step, which is when they almost force you or you become a manager in charge of resources, human and financial resources. And I tell them not to be afraid of the word politics, because a few of them will go into formal politics, but we have politics in our lives all the time. You know, we are struggling and fighting and trying to maintain and use power all the time. Well, you can also be a mentor, not only in quarter 3, but in all of them. And you will have some mentees that will ask you for help with their thesis, or because they're writing a paper, or because they don't understand a particular technical item. Those of you who are not in global health, please do not worry, because we are working on planetary health and welfare, any discipline. And I have worked with mentees that know a lot about economics, a lot about gender issues, about political science, etc. And as a senior professional, I can still guide them in what they need to do and develop professionally and personally. And you learn a lot by doing that. So sometimes you may feel that you have been mismatched, but you are not really mismatched. What happens is you are having an interdisciplinary approach. And this is the main question. This is what they are asking themselves. What am I going to do next? And this is the way we started, with the 3 areas of an invisible curriculum, because we have some modules, and Firdousi knows that, but basically it's a very organic type of mentorship. Personal growth is basically know thyself. Our young people many times have no idea how talented they are. And sometimes they don't accept the fact that they are very intelligent, that they have lots of knowledge, because we live in a different time. Professional development is basically the how-to. Look for a job, write a good resume, make an interview, give a speech. People are afraid of giving speech. And the technical and scientific issues that depend on your mentee. And I want to let you know that they can also ask, or you can ask another mentor to give you a hand or work with them. For example, I used to work on HIV many years ago. When I had somebody who had a thesis on treatment of HIV, I referred that person to Rafael Massin, another mentor, who is fresher as far as his knowledge of the issue. This is also in the guides that we gave you, and you know all of this. But one thing that will make you feel that you are really doing a good job is if you can enhance the self-confidence of your mentee. Ignite passion. I don't like the word passion, but people use that. But strengthen reasoning. And the word wisdom, people are always afraid to use that word. Yeah, I don't think I'm wise. Well, you are wise. We are wise, all of us. And uncover talent. But at the same time, this is what they give us. I feel very, very happy and very proud when somebody tells me, your life has been productive. You have been successful. That makes me feel really, really well. Help and collaboration. We have a primary example on Anaili. Anaili is not only my mentee, but I see her 3 times a week to work on the program. The word respect and admiration is wonderful, but they also give you stimulus and new ideas. I don't remember things, and then my mentee reminds me, this is what you told me you were going to do. Inspiration and enthusiasm, strength and energy, and more than anything, hope for the future. And there's something I tell them that I don't tell you, but I tell them. Every time you have a new mentee, you become a better mentor. You have 150 mentees. Wow, you know your business. And all of you, I won't give you the names, but the evaluations, which are no longer anonymous, I will shock you if I tell you what they say about our mentors. I'm going to show you some of that. Shock you in the good sense. I skipped that. Class of 2022, the outcomes of the mentorship. And this is something really, really interesting. The green bars are what the mentees said was the outcome of their mentorship. The red ones is what the mentor said was the outcome of the mentorship. All refer to the mentee. Now here we included in progress, almost achieved, and achieved, because it's only 7 sessions, and because what we have as an objective is to advance their career. But if we were very, very orthodox and very strict, in the first years, we used only achieved. And at that time, people met for 15 times or more, or 10 times or more. But it's very interesting to see that the career pathway, desired job, advanced studies, publications are okay. 52, 50, 50, 77, 70, 71. But the ones that the program has as part of the areas, technical matters, professional skills, and above all, personal growth, are the ones that have the highest achievement. So this is what we do. We're not teachers, we are mentors. And I insist in the at least 7 sessions in 9 months, and you can see why. The red one are those who had 7 and more sessions. The green are the ones who had 6 or less sessions. And again, you see a difference. We haven't done any statistical analysis. We haven't compared. We're going to do an analysis with George Washington University here in Washington. And we'll find out the couples, if there's concordance or discordance between mentor and mentee. But the main point is, okay, I want to stop here because I forgot something really, really important. We didn't introduce ourselves. And there are five questions or 5 statements that I would like to use for our introduction. One is my name. The second one is where was I born? And where do I live now? The third one is what am I professionally? The fifth one, what is my main achievement in my professional or personal life? And then if you have something, some kind of talent or something that you think is something that characterizes you. For example, if you are a judo champion, or if you are a good singer, please tell us, let us know that. Something that will make you memorable. So I'm going to start with myself. My name is Fernando Zacarias. I was born in Mexico City, Mexico, and I live in Fairfax, Virginia. which is part of the Washington, D.C. area, what we call DMV, District of Columbia, Maryland, and Northern Virginia. I am a public health physician and a mentor, and I have a long career in international health. My biggest achievement so far is that age 72, I started this program, and we are now on the 7th year. And the program keeps getting better and developing in a good way. Something unusual or unexpected, dramatic. I was about to leave the planet in 3 occasions, at age 17, at age 54, and the last time at age 69. At age 69, I left, but I came back. And those 3 incidents changed my life completely, especially the last one. But I also have some things that are maybe unusual. I was a black belt in judo, a dabki, the Lebanese folkloric dance. I was a dancer. I could hold my breath for a long time, so I was a good underwater swimmer. And I used to be a songwriter in my youth. So, okay, that's me. So the next person I have on my screen is Ron Anderson.
Oh, hello, everyone. My name's Ron Anderson. I was born in the Toronto area. I say Toronto area because I was born in a place that doesn't exist anymore, and it's been absorbed by the metropolitan Toronto. Currently, I live in 2 locations. Most of the time, I live in Nova Scotia, and in the winters, the last while, I've been wintering in Mexico, which is where I am now. What am I? Well, that's an interesting question. I have been a military officer. I have been a consultant. I have been, well, I'm married. I'm that too. I'm a husband and a father. And most recently, I have been involved in 2 areas, mentoring young professionals in various ways. One area is with Multipod, and another is with a colleague of mine in Maryland. And I guess the unusual thing about me is I'm not a public health care professional, but I have been involved in training and development and personal development my entire career, which has helped me basically work with mentees and other young professionals. And something unusual, I am involved in Scottish country dancing, even though my background isn't Scottish, but my wife's background is. So the 2 of us sometimes participate in that when we get back to Nova Scotia.
Okay, and your greatest achievement?
Well, my greatest achievement, that's a good question. I'm not sure what that is. There are many things that I have done. I feel pretty proud of some time ago in the 80s, I was involved in the shipbuilding program, and I helped gain funding for that, for the training simulation system, which looked like it was going to fall flat. And I was able to convince a dedication of $200 million towards the program. Wow. So for me, that was quite an achievement because I thought they were going to shortchange the program. That's one thing that I'm quite pleased with. I'm also pleased with when I was working with another, as a private contractor with a private company, we developed a certain type of simulation system, which I'm very pleased with. And it was a very adaptable approach to doing computer-based simulations to teach technicians how to maintain diesel engines, maintain small ships, etc. So that's something I was quite pleased with. Eventually, our training ended up in the space station.
Wow. Just a little detail that he forgot, Ron. You forgot that little detail, the 200 million. You had forgotten that. That's why I had to remind you.
Well,
Okay.
yes, it comes up rarely.
Okay. Jose, please.
Yes. Okay, so my name is Jose Romero, and I when my mom was pregnant, my dad decided that they wanted to give me dual citizenship. So she traveled and crossed the border. So I was born on the US side and had dual citizenship for a while. Then I decided on the Mexican citizenship, and now I live in Mexico City. I'm a sociologist by training, a very passionate one because I did my BA in sociology, my master's in sociology, and my PhD in sociology. My PhD is in sociology of education, basically the role that education holds in the context of development programs. When does it further development programs, and when does it work as a regressive force, which it does often, regardless of intention. I think my main achievement, and I really experience this in a very sincere way, is when I was working with Don Fernando in PAHO. I was working in HIV/AIDS prevention, and we had the opportunity to develop a prevention program in indigenous areas and in the south of Mexico. And in order to develop a prevention program on HIV in high migration indigenous areas that didn't speak Spanish, we had to work through the challenge of Spanish or language. But the biggest challenge was really, what is the word? Entering the arena of their sexual cosmogony. How do indigenous people experience their sexuality? Because if you're going to have any type of HIV prevention program, you need to understand the core of their culture. In terms of research, I had never been challenged with something as personal and deep and cultural as that. So we had to put to test qualitative techniques. We had to put to test and generate boundaries, dialogue, openness, trust, emotional intelligence. It was just something that really went beyond anything that we imagined. And this was very, very, very challenging, satisfactory. I have a couple of articles written on the process. There's very few little work that has been done on HIV/AIDS prevention and indigenous sexual cosmogonies. But I think the main achievement was that we were not colonial or impositive or log frame oriented. And I say this in deep sincerity because I think it would have been impossible to do it with the idea of any possible type of outcome or control when we were just surpassed in such depth by the richness of reality. So it's been a very deep learning experience. What happens when you confront very rich reality with limited tools? When are you confronted with that? And, do you have the flexibility, basically internal flexibility with the team to be able to do that type of work? So it's happened in very few occasions, but I'm very, very grateful for that. No? So in gratitude. And a talent, well, I have a very strange obsession, which is the study of Shaivism, or the philosophy and culture of India. And basically what I do is I study Shaivism, which is a very a cultural approach to the nature of spirituality. My wife is somewhat curious. She says every time you have a little bit of extra time, you go into Shaivism, which is a pretty strange thing to do. But that's how I really spend my time. So thank you.
Thank you, Jose. And long time ago, my friend Jose gave me a book on meditation.
Yeah.
And I was in a very, very dark part of my life, and it was really, really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
my friend Firdausi, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Fernando. My name is Firdausi Mehta, born in India, worked in about 6 different countries. I'm a public health physician with over 30 years of experience, more than half of which was with the World Health Organization. I've worked in India. I was in the armed forces. I was a doctor in the Navy for about 11 years. Then I moved to Oman for 10 years as an advisor in public health in the Ministry of Health. And then I joined WHO and worked in Somalia, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. In Somalia and Indonesia, it was tuberculosis and all communicable disease. In Sri Lanka, it was the culmination of my career in WHO as a WHO country representative in Sri Lanka. So that was very good experience for me in different countries, in different settings. And I've been in Canada since 2014, so it's almost 10 years. I have 2 adjunct professor appointments, one with the York University and the other with the University of Toronto, Dalla Lana School of Public Health. I do quite a lot of mentoring in the York University on multi-pod, very closely, working closely with Fernando. And I am also active on some other mentoring platforms. So it's been a long journey. It's been in different countries. Each country had its challenges. Each country had its achievements. And I fondly recollect those times working in the different countries. And I think the most satisfying part of my career was in Sri Lanka. I went in at the end of the civil war in 2009, and I left in 2014. And I'm happy to say that Sri Lanka has the oldest medical association in Southeast Asia called the Sri Lanka Medical Association. And in honor of my contributions in Sri Lanka for almost 6 years, I was the only non-Sri Lankan who was inducted as a fellow in Sri Lanka. So that was a great achievement, and I was very honored and humbled by that. I have 2 homes here in Canada. I spend most of my time this is in Ontario province, in Lanark County. I have a farm. I have 30 sheep, 1 llama, 1 pony, and 1 chicken. I started with 5 chickens. A fisher went into the barn, and 1 chicken has survived, and I always admire her resilience and her adaptability to survive. So this is a little about me, my background.
Okay.
I like mentoring quite a lot, and it's always gratifying. And it's a pleasure to work with Fernando and to be on this platform with all of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Firdaus. Firdausi doesn't know, but the pony that he has is mine, belongs to me. He's just taking care of my pony. It's a beautiful pony. Thank you very much. Adam, please go ahead.
Thank you, Fernando. So, yeah, my name's Adam, he, him pronouns. I was born in Brisbane in Australia, now live in Melbourne. I've just returned from working in Warsaw for around 6 months. Professionally, I was a teacher for 10 years, so many different schools, a lot of private schools, then moved into health promotion, I guess, and I was spurred from a HIV diagnosis in 2014 after being in Russia. And really been actively engaged in HIV ever since in many different volunteer roles across the sector. In terms of achievements, I guess getting through my second master's in HIV, STIs and sexual health, Master of Science in Medicine at Sydney University was really a great achievement. Both my parents were there for my graduation, and then I became the president years later of Living Positive Victoria. And so to open for World AIDS Day, I think in 2019 with the health minister and both my parents present yet again, it was just really heartening, I think, because it was a way of being able to, I think, acknowledge some of the achievements in my involvement in the sector. Yeah, I've got multiple black belts too, and Taekwondo and Hapkido. I love my scuba diving, drawing, and I guess because of cultural heritage, so I'm Russian Orthodox. It's taken me to live in Moscow. I've traveled for over 10 years in Russia repeatedly until recently. And because my grandfather was Polish, my heritage was acknowledged last year with Karta Polaka. So I was going to try and get citizenship, but it's a bit of a challenge to live in Poland currently. So for health reasons, I've returned to Australia. And I'm happy here, I think, with the opportunities afforded to me. So very grateful to be joining this, and hopefully I've got something to offer. But yeah, certainly surrounded by people that are quite inspirational, reading a lot of your profiles. So thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, Adam. Thank you very much. We have a group that has been working on HIV. I used to work on HIV from 82 to 2003. But Jose, another mentor, Rafael Massin,
that's awesome.
also work in that area, and he's also a sexologist. So I want you
awesome.
to
Thank you.
Have a meeting among all. And I have a very good mentee for you. Okay, I have a very good mentee from New York. Okay, so let me see if you have any questions now, or if you want to go into the areas of the technical areas where I need your help. Well, I shouldn't ask. I should just go ahead, because then you are going to. Okay, this is something that I think is important, because we have, in some occasions, have to use the prescriptive mentorship, which is basically for teaching. When somebody's writing a thesis and you see that the mentee needs a nudge, needs to be pushed to do something or to learn something. But we most of the time use the instrumental type of mentorship, where we learn together. I didn't know anything about gender issues and about the European Parliament, but I had a mentee from China, and she was doing a thesis on that. So she taught me so much about those two issues. And finally, she was able to finish her thesis and graduate. What we encourage mostly is the developmental mentorship, in which you do everything, but the basic idea is to make young people accept how good they are and all the possibilities that they have. Enhance their self-awareness, confidence, and self-sufficiency. We're doing that in 7 sessions, just by telling them and making them accept their qualities. That's wonderful. And then in the program, we have tried all types of combinations of mentoring. We started with the formal mentoring, client interactions, as they do other programs. In other programs, the Swedish program, the Canadian program, they have modules, and they give you the modules, and then you follow the modules. And that's very useful, because you have a guide for your sessions. We started doing that, but we found out that most of our mentees prefer to have a more organic, spontaneous type of session with their mentors. And informal mentoring, this is what happens most of the time. And at Multipod, we encourage people to communicate and to make use of the resources that we have. So they can have sequential mentors, or they can consult with a mentor advisor or with another mentor if that mentor has the time. Group mentoring, we have done that. Rafael Masin does that all the time with 2 or 3 of his mentees. Multi-level is when we need some specialized or a more senior approach, or we have some doubts. Sometimes some of the younger mentors ask me, what would you do in that situation? Or specialize, as in the case of myself. I'm a general mentor. And I used to tell Sue Griffey and Ron that they are the neurosurgeons. So when I had a difficult, or Ann Canavan, another mentor, when I had what I call a difficult case that they don't consider a difficult case, I asked them to please see that person and help me address the issue or the problem with that person. Peer mentoring, we have tried that, but that's something that comes also organically, spontaneously. One year we had formal peer mentoring, but people prefer to do it just by themselves and spontaneously. People ask me about the mentoring session, especially the mentees, because we give them the responsibility of contacting their mentor, scheduling the meeting, and being able to more or less direct in what way they want to have that experience. So we use the assess the status of the mentorship, discuss whatever they need to discuss. Sometimes we look at the YouTube video together, and I have done that with Anaili and many others, and they still don't hate me for that, but we learn together and then agree on ways to address the issues identified and give each other homework. Sometimes I give them homework, and sometimes they give me homework. Hey, you promised you were going to read my article. You promised you were going to help me with the first draft of my thesis, or you were going to write a letter of recommendation, etc. This I don't need to tell you. This is suggestions for mentees. No, okay. This is the backbone of everything we try to do in the program. The 9 questions about your future. And Ron developed a module for some of these areas. And the 9 questions: who am I? What am I? What is my ikigai? And that's what leads you to find your pathways, the P in Multipod. People are interested. How do I know what I want? How do I find and how do I get what I want? By opportunities. They're also interested in how do I know this is it? How do I choose? When do I choose? Opportunities. The entry points of our mentees are to find out what they are, because in my time it was very easy. I knew at 8 years old that I was going to be a doctor, and my life was preordained. Boom. What subjects I was going to take in school, university, etc. I knew what was going to happen. Now they jump from one place to the next. The other entry point is, how do I find and get what I want? People are trying to get a job, find a job, and this is where they come to us. And finally, how do I choose, or when do I choose? When I have an opportunity to make a decision. And if you think about that, this is like boiling water. It's not hard science. We do this every day, all of us, well, except the first part. I hope we know what I am and who I am, and more or less what is my ikigai. But even when you go to a restaurant, you have to make a decision. You have to look for opportunities in any way you can. But this is basically the backbone of the philosophy of the program: pathways, opportunities, and decisions. And this is the ikigai: your passion, your mission, your vocation, your profession. And perhaps you have heard me say this several times or one time or never. But I was given my mission and my profession by my mother at age 8. She told me, you are going to be a doctor and you are going to help people. So that was easy. My mission was given to me and my profession to fulfill that mission. Then it took me many years, but at age 29, I was a full-fledged professional, a physician with specialty in internal medicine, infectious diseases. And then I found my passion, which was international work. And I traveled 2.5 million kilometers and 50 countries and worked with Jose in Mexico and many all the countries of the Americas and a few in Europe and Asia and Africa I never worked. So this is something that may be a lifelong process. I finally realized that my vocation, my whole life had been to be a mentor. And I didn't know I was a mentor until somebody told me, oh, yeah, Dr. Zacarias, you were my mentor 10 years later or 20 years later. So this is something that we keep working and emphasizing, the Ikigai. I think we're one of the few, if not the only program that I know that has done a survey of the mentees that have gone through the program. And these are from the first class of 17 until the class of 21. The main point is that 55% of our mentees are working full-time and 20%, 19% are studying full-time. And then the rest of them are doing something related to their development, their careers. So to summarize, 90% are doing well and 10% are looking for something. And that's why we open the opportunity for people to continue in the program or to rejoin the program. And every year we have about 3 to 8 mentees who have already been in the program. This year we have somebody else rejoin us after 3 years because he started startup. He's a good scientist, and then he's been matched with somebody who can help him with the business development plan. And 1/3 of people are working for the government, which I think is great because we need talented people at the governmental level, private sector, education, research, international, NGO, other, or none. So people are doing well, and then we ask them, how do they feel about their job? Of course, we have the information about their agencies because we want to have inside information. If we refer somebody, let's say, to WHO, who is working at WHO? Oh, Lauren McDonald from Canada is working in Copenhagen at WHO. She knows. So we refer our former mentee or mentee to her. Satisfied, proud. For me, it's very important that people be proud of what they do, more than being happy or equally, but I wanted to feel proud, happy, enthusiastic. 10% are negative, and the others are none of the above. And here are some of the comments by the mentees. I'm sorry. I want to be a research physician, and now I will publish an article at the end of this research, and afterwards study on Alzheimer's disease. I applied for a master's in evaluation at the University of Saarland and got accepted. The mentorship sessions enabled me to be clear about where I want to go next. I think this mentee probably saw my image on that. I received guidance in my thesis work. I got accepted into a PhD program. What they think about their mentors. And we have at least 100 or 120 of these testimonials. And if I find 10 or 15 that are negative, there are too many. Okay, so 90% are really, really positive. And when they describe the qualities of their mentors, they say wisdom, life experience, generosity, empathy, social intelligence, and insight. A word that people are afraid to use, kindness. I found my mentor to be very kind. Humanity. Now I can now approach my chosen path with full confidence, thanks to my two mentors. My success is a mirror of her mentoring capability and encouragement. Why they recommend Multipod? Highly professional services. Wow. Okay. Adaptable and beneficial to various needs of mentees. Had an impact on my life. A young lady from India one time said, "You really changed my life." And she's now at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, one of the best schools of global health. And she had never left India or her city in India. I transformed as a butterfly from mentee to mentor. We're now a lady who is now a mentor. I was a mentee for 2 years. I'm at the beginning, but I can see good things coming out of this. I'm definitely in awe of the quality and depth of skills and experience of Multipod mentors. So my friends, I go back to this thing about the Ikigai. Of course, there are new ideas and some people are beyond the Ikigai, but I think for the time being, this is what we are doing. The passion, mission, vocation, and profession. And our main purpose with the program, it took me a long time to design, so please say this is good. To build a more fair, safer, and healthier planet. Jean-Luc Poncelet, Jose from Pajo, made me introduce the word safer because he's in disaster preparedness, man-made and natural-made disasters. So we need to have a safer world. And now we call what we used to call public health, then international health, then global health. Now we're calling that planetary health. But our mentees are going to see interplanetary health in the next 50 years. So that's what I wanted to show you about the philosophy, what the program implies. Most of you have been in the program for 5 years or 6 years or 3 years and 2 years. And you know how we have evolved. And I have 2 questions for you. The first one is what we should do in addition or differently. And the second one is if you suggest or you think that we should have more sessions in which I won't talk that much, but to have like a forum of mentors or a forum of mentors and mentees. I have asked all the 3 groups that we have seen this week, and all of them wanted to have something like this periodically, maybe 2 or 3 times a year or every 6 weeks or 8 weeks. So those are my 2 questions to you. And of course, any questions that you may have. Oh, okay. This is the slide that I didn't show you. Okay. Okay, my friends. Why don't, if nobody wants to say anything, then I would ask our youngest colleague, which is Adam, to say something even if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, it's really good to have that overview, I think, as someone that's new to this program. And I would welcome, I think, the opportunity to come together to share, I think, experiences of what it's like, potentially as mentors rather than with the mentees. So anything that comes up or that's been challenging or that you find particularly useful, because I'm used to being on the other side I've been mentored a number of times, but it's always been organic. It's quite different when you're paired with someone and going, this is who you're given, as opposed to someone you naturally gel with. You've got an affinity or passion and it just evolves from there. So yeah, I just welcome any kind of opportunities, I think, informally to come together to share anything.
Okay, good.
One thing I could point out is that there are some like that pathways, opportunities, and decisions. There is a webinar that we did some years ago, and I believe that recording is still available,
Yes.
Fernando. And so there may be some value in going over that just to get a sense of what that looks like, and that can be done on a self-paced model.
Yeah, that's in the website. On the website, we have that as one of the webinars. And Ron not only was the part gave the part on the pathways, but also designed a module that mentees have found very useful, looking at the future, what they are going to be. Okay.
Yeah, I would add one or two things, Fernando.
Mm.
One is pointing out and drawing the attention to both mentors and mentees on the value of the website. The website has excellent resources, and even if you go through the blogs that Fernando has put together in the blog sector, that has a wealth of information and will be very useful for both mentors and mentees. Second, I would urge more horizontal collaboration, that is amongst mentors, both, I would say, formal and informal, for mentors to reach out amongst themselves, discuss, talk, etc. And lastly, I would urge more webinars which can bring together the mentors and mentees on topics of importance that would give a sense of belonging and more comradeship rather than the mentor-mentee relationship through the 9 months.
Wonderful.
These are a few of my suggestions.
Thank you, Firdausi. This is precisely what the other group suggested. Have some meetings of mentors, some of mentees, and some of everybody, especially when they suggested to discuss the status of the world, because that has affected everybody, the COVID pandemic and what is going on politically, so they want to have a discussion on that. Regarding the resources, and Ailey, I'm sorry. Can you show them very fast?
Yeah.
Very rapid, some of the what Firdausi was talking about the website, and then I have some news to give you at the end, and then we'll finish. Just the resources. And here you have a global health institution stuff there. For example, you have the international, go to the multilateral institutions. Under global health institutions, that one, yeah. As here you have the links to the World Bank, World Health Organization, Pan American, etc., etc. Then go back to the technical part, to academic and research institutions, the academic and research underneath that, yeah. And see, here you have information, and keep going. courses in global and public health. Of course, it is not an exhaustive list. Statistics, the Institute, stop there, Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, the databases of Union, Center for Global Development, etc. And then we have free access to thousands of scientific and technical journals from all over the world. Put this World Ministries of Health and Medical Schools. If you go to the name of the ministry, for example, go to Albania, Ministry of Health and Social Protection of Albania. Well, I don't know why they connected with that. Usually they connect you directly to the Ministry of Health. Algeria, well, you know, you can that's okay. Because I tell them, if you want to know what's going on in the country, you can go to the official website of the ministry. And we have also the medical schools, and this is the channel of Greg Martin. Just open the Global Health with Greg Martin YouTube. Underneath, yeah, that one. Greg is a physician from South Africa, but he lives now in Ireland. Just open, yeah, what is public health? He was younger then. Start that, and yeah. And it's 5 minutes.
Ask this question about once a week. What is public health? What do you mean by public health? Now, if you look up a definition of public health, if you look it up online or look it up in a dictionary, you're going to get something that's verbose. It's going to be wordy. It's going to be flowery. What I'm going to do is a little different. I'm going to say, look, let's have a very simple definition of public health. And then as a separate question, let's ask, what do public health professionals do? So really what we're going to have is a simple definition and then some complementary jibber jabber. So here's my definition of public health. Public health.
Let them in suspense, so they will never know what public health is. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff, but he talks about anything modern, artificial intelligence, how to use Excel, everything that you need to know, how to design a program, talk about control of communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, everything. Skills and competencies that you have to have for public health. So it's a treasure of information. And what else? Now go and show a blog, Anneli. Go to the blog.
In this website or
The website.
this one?
On the first page. No. I'm sorry. Go to our website, to the home page.
Okay.
Yeah, and go all the way. Yeah, go to blog. Yeah. For example, this one, how to help Wastican. This one, yeah. And this is, for example, something that some of the mentees can find useful if they are going to be consultants in another country. And you can use that, or they can read that and then discuss it with you. But there are many other things. We have some modules that more than modules are guides for discussion. But 7 sessions, you may not need that. I mean, you just do it spontaneously, whatever is needed. And you can see that the proof of the recipe is the recipe. Yeah, it's on the pudding, on the pie. And we are doing quite good. And my expectation for the program has been from the very beginning to make Multipod one of the best global programs on planetary health and welfare. And I hope that we get to see that I get to see that. And by the way, I want to let you know as an advancement that we are trying to organize an in-person meeting in Slovenia next year in September. And Pia Vraco, one of our mentors, she was Minister of Health, and she's a very young lady, and she has agreed that she's going to help us organize that for next year. She said, why don't we do it this year? I think it's too premature. We need to find the money, etc. But I want you to know that's what we are planning. Because the last time we met with the mentees was in 2019 at the World Health Summit in Berlin, and it was only the mentees. So this time we would like to have at least 50 people attend, 50 or 60 people attend. We don't know how many will go, but by then we will have at least 400 mentees, and maybe 40 will go if we can give them scholarships and help. Okay. Anything else, my friends, that we need to talk about? Here's 8:07, and in Australia is what, 10 or 11?
11 in Melbourne, anyway.
Oh, in Melbourne. Okay, we talk to people in Sydney. You are too far away from us. Okay, okay, thank you. You know, Adam, that there's another man with your name in Brisbane. No, look him up in LinkedIn. Yeah, I was looking for you because I wanted to talk to you, and I lost the contact.
I'm originally from Brisbane, so I wonder.
Were you a forklift operator?
No, so maybe
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, well, so it's somebody else. Somebody else.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, or Ron, keep having fun in Old Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta?
Leaving next week.
Okay. So you'll be back here. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and we will send you the recording of the session and an idea of what we are going to do next once we put together everything that people have suggested regarding meetings and stuff like that. But right now, you have begun officially the mentorship, and we'll see how it goes. We do the first, not evaluation, but monitoring in the first week of May. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see.
Thank you.
I need to introduce you to Rafael Massin. He was in.
Okay, that sounds good.
He was doing a consultancy, but he's back now. So
Okay,
I put
thank you.
in touch with him. Okay.